The Longines Hong Kong Sprint will be the second of the 4 internationals on Sunday at Sha Tin. And, over the long-term history, it's a race that Hong Kong have had a great deal of success in. Of course, Japan have had their say as well, with Lord Kanaloa winning it back-to-back a few years ago.
They certainly have. Gold fun, though, for the home team is at the top there and gets a reasonable gate in Gate 6. Soul Power for Ireland, then Lucky 9, who won this back in 2011. Dundonald, another one for Richard Gibson. Then we have Mickey Isle, who hasn't drawn a great gate. Neither has Peniophobia. It's a feature of this, actually. The draw has given some pretty bad gates to some of the fancied runners. Rich Tapestry, of course, the much-travelled Rich Tapestry is in Gate 3. Then Charles the Gate, Green Mask, one of the American challengers. Then Mongolian Saturday, what a story he is. Not Listening to Me has drawn a good gate, though, in 2. Sakura Gospel, one of the Japanese challengers, in 12. Then Strathmore, and Straight Girl gets 13, like she did last year.
Yes, well, the Japanese are here in force again with 10 runners at the program on Sunday, and Straight Girl obviously will be one that creates a lot of interest. Let's have a look at Speed Pro, as John just mentioned. Particularly the sprint and also the cup, the barrier draws are more crucial with short runs to the first turn. And it looks a real problem, unfortunately, for Peniophobia, who's been racing terrifically well along with Gold Fun. They look the standout too on form for the locals, but the barrier draw has certainly turned things around a little bit. Mickey Isle generally likes to go forward. Mongolian Saturday is a speed horse. He's going to show pace, but I just can't see Peniophobia getting in, John. It's
not ideal, and of course in the lead-up race here in Hong Kong, Peniophobia had a very bad draw as opposed to Gold Fun, who had a good draw, and once again Gold Fun's been luckier at the barriers.
I think the barrier draw will assure that there's a good tempo for the sprint, and that will suit Straight Girl. We know she's a mare who likes to get back and close off strongly. Mickey Isle should be up there. Sakura Gospel's a horse that can sit in midfield.
Yeah, I think Straight Girl is clearly going to be the horse that, well, not necessarily to beat, but certainly she's going to be there or thereabouts. I worry about Gate 13 for her, but as I say, she ran a very good race from Gate 13 last year. I was just waiting for her to get a good one this time round. It hasn't happened, but she showed an electrifying burst here to get past some pretty good sprinters, one or two, of course, who re-oppose. But I think she's definitely the best of the Japanese challenge.
Yes, and I understand this will be her swan song as well, Straight Girl. She'll be going to the barn following her performance on Sunday. Nahira Goda always comes to Hong Kong and represents Japan. He's a terrific judge. Let's find out his thoughts.
Now, Hero, looking at the sprint, of course, it's a race that Japan has had great success in the past. What do you think of the 3 runners they've got in this year's renewal?
Well, I should say Lord Kanaloa. He is a very, very special horse. You know, he's one of the best, very best sprinter we have ever seen. But still, you know, I think the Straight Girl has a very good chance. You know, she finished 3rd in the Hong Kong Sprint 12 months ago. She's now 6th, but still, you know, she is a better horse than she was 12 months ago. Her performance in the Sprinted Stakes in October, I think, you know, it was her career best performance. She's now still improving, and it is proved that Straight Girl can handle the surface of this racetrack. And this race will be her final career start. I believe, you know, it will be beautiful swan song for Straight Girl.
Do you think she can win then?
I do believe so.
What about Mickey Isle, also from Japan, in the race?
Mickey Isle has a very, very good speed, but it is not so tactical speed, you know. Probably he will set a quite strong pace. I don't know yet, you know, if he can finish in first 4, 3. Definitely, you know, the Straight Girl is a better horse than Mickey Isle, so I recommend Straight Girl.
Okay, and where does Sakura Gospel fit into the equation? Of course, Hong Kong-based rider Zach Purden's going to be on board here.
Well, I was a bit worried about the Sakura Gospel's trip to Hong Kong, because even he is running in Japan, he doesn't like to make a travel to... He is based in Tokyo, but sometimes, you know, his race performance in the area in Osaka or distant places inferior than his performance in Tokyo. So I am not sure if he's enjoying the climate in this country.
Some fit in and some don't, but there's no doubt Straight Girl will get the pace that she requires in the sprint there, I think it's fair to say, on Sunday, and that will give her a great chance to go out on a winning note. Let's move on to Soul Power. Of course, he's been here on 3 occasions in the past. He finished 2nd to Lord Kanaloa in 2013. He took on Peniophobia, of course, here in the Al-Quoz sprint. And, of course, the American Green Mask was in the wrong part of the track doing well, also finishing 3rd.
Yeah, I think that poor old Soul Power has been dealt a nasty trick by history here, because, of course, in the old days, the sprint used to be on the straight 1,000 track, didn't it? And that would have been absolutely right up Soul Power Street. But the 6 furlongs or 1,200 metres round the bend is something he's not quite so good at. And he has finished second, but he's been down the field a couple of times, and I just think he's up against it.
Sally-Anne, did you see him in France back in October? How do you think he's faring for the race on Sunday?
Unfortunately, the Abbey seems to be a race that doesn't suit him at all. He always seems to be unlucky in the Abbey, and Eddie Lynham says it all the time. It never seems to go his way. I think his second performance here was the best he's ever done in numerous tries in this race, and I completely agree. I don't think that this is the race for him.
Well, he's a 5-time Group 1 winner. Let's hear from his trainer, Ed Lynham.
Ed, Soul Power, this is his 4th trip here to Hong Kong. How's he settled in this time around?
Settled in very well. His weight is good. He's eaten well. Very happy. You know, it's his 4th trip here, and he knows the run of the place now. He likes it.
He's drawn barrier 8 in the sprint. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, it's okay. I didn't want a real wide gate, and I didn't want one on the fence either, so no complaints. And I believe 8's a lucky number over here, so please God, it'll work out for him.
He's a multiple Group 1 winner. He added another Group 1 to his CV when he won in Dubai earlier in the year. But 1,200 metres has never really been his trip. What needs to happen in the run for him to perform at his best over the 1,200 here on Sunday?
It's a fair comment. I'd say at 1,000 metres he's a 117 to 120 horse, depending on what happens on the day. At 1,200 metres he's probably a 112 horse. So he needs to run up to his 1,000 metre form over 1,200. But we keep trying, and the horse is in good form. He's nothing to lose, so we'll have a go.
Well, he certainly will be familiar with the surroundings come Sunday, Soul Power. Moving on to the local Hong Kong horses and their build-up towards the sprint. Gold Fun, Penophobia, I think it's fair to say, have been the dominant two. Penophobia, as we've already touched on, has drawn very, very awkwardly, but Gold Fun has drawn perfectly, I think, in barrier number 6. And Sally-Anne, you saw quite a bit of him before he even came to Hong Kong.
Yeah, Gold Fun is a horse I know quite well. I even knew his dam back in the day. That's a long time ago, but he's a horse that I really, really like. I think he's got a lot of talent. I think it's so tough for any European horse to come here and beat the local horses. They're so good at what they do, and I think Gold Fun could be the best of them.
Yeah, I think he's hard to beat. Not Listening to Me and Lucky 9 both ran well there, and they've both drawn well, but I would be very surprised if John Blance is going to tip against Gold Fun.
Yes, those of you who've watched Racing to Win so far this year will know I've got a bit of a soft spot for this horse. He's very good, 1,200 metres all the way up to a mile and possibly further. But of course, Richard Gibson's had to try and avoid a certain horse by the name of Able Friend, and I think he's decided that 1,200 is the way to go, and that performance there was terrific.
It certainly was. Richard, of course, has got Dundonnell in the race as well, and let's hear from Richard Gibson.
Richard, 2 runners in the sprint, and you must be happy with both draws for them.
Absolutely, you know, no one wants to be wide in that race, and good to be tucked in the rail.
Gold Fun, very good win last time out. How's he come through that?
Yeah, happy, you know, been a very straightforward prep, and pleased with the draw, so it's four-face Buddha time.
Where will he be in the run from gate 6?
You know, Simeon will decide. It'll be based on pace. You know, he's very flexible and professional horse. We've seen him come from behind, and we've seen him up on the pace, and that's always the sign of a good horse.
What would it mean to you to win a big one with him on the international day, because he's gone so agonisingly close in the past?
You know, the horse has been a great advertisement for our stable. You know, he's won Group 1s every year since he's been to Hong Kong. He's been twice in the mile, and to win a sprint would be a great credit to the horse.
What about Dundonnell?
Dundonnell, I think, has been a bit unlucky this year. I think he's been run a bit too close to the speed. On his day, he's a good horse. He beat Gold Fun earlier in the year, so he's got to be respected off this draw.
Yeah, I think he does too, and he's a great chance of winning the race. Just quickly, John, Green Mask, Mongolian Saturday, how do you assess them?
It's a bit tricky for them, of course, going the opposite way around here in Hong Kong. It's great to see them, and it's really sporting of them to come over here. Mongolian Saturday is a fantastic story. If you get the chance to have a look at him and his Mongolian connections, it really is worth a read. And Green Mask, of course, had 1 or 2 slight problems, didn't he? It was rumoured when galloping, but hopefully they go well. They're not in my numbers, but hopefully they go well.
Well, Green Mask did show in the Alquoz that he's right up to Soul Power Baron Penophobia at his best. We wish them all the best in the race on Sunday. But Gold Fun to beat who, John?
Gold Fun to beat Straight Girl. I mean, if the barrier draw was different, I'd have Straight Girl over Gold Fun, but Gold Fun's definitely got a better draw vis-a-vis Straight Girl, and I think he'll win. Straight Girl for second, yes, she's not got an ideal draw, but she didn't have one last year, and she still managed to place. And Not Listening to Me is a horse on the upgrade. He's got a lovely gate in gate 2. I think he could go quite nicely into a place at a decent price.
Sally Ann, who did you decide on in the sprint?
Behind Gold Fun. I put Listening to Me in as well. I spoke to John Moore this morning. He was very confident about Not Listening to Me. I found him very confident, and the draw was the factor for me as well. That's why I took Straight Girl out of it. I thought the draw is such a negative for her. I put in Mongolian Saturday as a horse that I love. Longinenes is such a talented rider. You know, I know it's going to be a problem going right-handed. The issue with Green Mask was the reason that I picked Mongolian Saturday over him.
It's a clean sweep for Gold Fun. I'm tipping him as well. I think whatever happens with regards to the speed of the race, he gets the good run. There'll be a solid enough tempo that'll allow him to produce his devastating turn of foot. I think he can win the sprint. Penophobia is not out of it. I think Moreira might just slot in from behind the pace, potentially Mickey Isle and so forth. He'll get clear running in the stretch. He's a quality animal. And Straight Girl, I think, will thunder home as well. 1-6-14. I sort of get the feeling potentially there may be a little bit of a wipeout in the sprint with the way the barrier draw has gone. But it's a terrific race, and we're all looking forward to that. We're going to take a break on our special edition of Racing to Win, looking at the international races. 2 down, 2 to go. Can Able Friend defend the title in the mile?